Gamora is not the one for you, Quill.
Shadow.
There are two types of beings in the universe. Those who dance and those who do not. I first met my beloved at a war rally. Everyone in the village flailed about, dancing, except one woman, my Ovette. I knew immediately she was the one for me. The most melodic song in the world could be playing. She wouldn't even tap her foot. Wouldn't move a muscle. One might assume she was dead.
That does sound pretty hot.
It would make my nether regions engorge.
Okay, I get it, yes. I am a dancer. Gamora is not.
You just need to find a woman who is pathetic. Like you.
All right, you primitive screwheads, listen up. See this? This is my boomstick!
What exactly is it that they do?
Kick names, take ass.
Blue flower, red thorns, blue flower, red thorns, blue flower, red thorns. This would be so much easier if I wasn't colorblind.
What did I do wrong?
Tom.
No! Why are you leaving me if I didn't do anything wrong? I don't understand. I thought you liked me!
I do like you. I just...
Tell me the truth! Why are you leaving me? What did you see? Why did you change?
You're scaring me, Pearl.
Welcome back. It's a great day to watch a movie. It's a great day to talk about a movie. And you know what? It's a great day to watch Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which is what we'll be discussing today. But first, guys, we took like a shorter break than usual between our last episode and this episode. And I don't know why, but there is so much news that I saw in terms of franchise movie news. And some show news that I'm going to get into just because I like the shows. But can I bring this up? Did you guys see that there is a new Star Wars trilogy in the works?
Yeah. So, and it's by Simon Kinberg.
Who's Simon?
Simon Kinberg. He was a producer on all the X-Men films, wrote and directed Dark Phoenix. And
oh god.
But he was apparently one of the creative forces behind Rebels. He helped Dave create Rebels.
Well, here's the thing.
I like Rebels.
I'm probably gonna watch these movies.
You guys
Probably. Okay. Don't even waste your breath on a probably. There's not a situation where you are not going to see a new Star Wars movie.
I'll be there, I guess.
Is that Grogu and the Mandalorian movie still coming out? Is that still happening?
And apparently Pedro's gonna actually be in the movie. So
he's in the show too.
Yeah, but
what
he's
a novel
like
idea to actually have the character playing the character actually there.
God forbid people have culture in shows that you just don't understand.
Explain the culture. Explain that comment to me.
He has to wear a helmet. That's his culture. He has to wear a helmet, and it's disrespect. Okay, there are cultures in the world now where you have to wear something that covers your face as a sign of respect. Are you saying that's...
You've put me in a box here. What are you saying about that, Zach? You've put me in a box here because now I can't criticize how stupid it is in The Mandalorian without apparently throwing a blanket statement across all organized religion.
I'm just saying... Well, okay, I understand what you're saying where it kind of disconnects the audience from the actual character.
I can't engage with the main character. I can't engage with them as well as you can with someone who actually has to act with their face, you know?
And I understand that. And it's hard to dispute that. But I'm saying in the terms of having that be a religious sign of respect or a religious thing that you just... You cover your face, you keep like very modest. I don't think it's that far-fetched to have something like that in the Star Wars universe.
No, but I think Zach made a point when we were doing our like Disney Star Wars movies when we were covering, I think it was Rogue One and Solo. He goes, when you have too much of it, like all these shows and all these other things, it feels like Star Wars gets watered down. And you know, because between movies we had the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, which was happening like during our childhoods, and then the sequel trilogy, which we waited like 8 years for. So I do want to know, does that kill your anticipation, the fact that we are getting so much media in between. I didn't want to say content, but media in between these movies.
I mean, I'm just reusing something I said before, but you got to give me a chance to miss you if you actually want me to be excited to see you again.
I think they've successfully done that this time.
It felt more like, but you know what? The thing is, though, it doesn't feel like they like took a step back and this could be just completely in my head, and I don't know, but it doesn't feel like they took a step back. Like, all right, let's slow down and let's really get this right. It feels more like that SpongeBob episode where he has to erase everything in his head, and then someone asks him his name, and then like inside his head you have like the chaos and the fire burning of everyone screaming like, "Oh my God, what's his name? What's his name?" That's what it feels like it's going on at Lucasfilm, where they're like, they don't know how to make good Star Wars anymore. And that, you know, maybe that's a reach because Andor is great, but that feels like Tony Gilroy's own little separate island.
You know what? I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I think it's been long enough, and I'm excited about it.
And I'm going to doubt the benefit. So like that's where we sit on it. But I think the Acolyte kind of that I gave Acolyte a chance. I did. I watched all of it to the end, and it had some ideas. I guess it's just, again, it all comes down to execution, and I think the shows just aren't executing. And we already talked about the problem with Rise of Skywalker, so hopefully that's something they can avoid again.
Well, I've heard it is
show-wise, it doesn't make the shows in between have not made me more excited for a movie.
It is a sequel apparently to the Skywalker saga. So the Skywalker saga is back on. We thought it was over. They're bringing it back from what I've read.
I think this is probably what that one singular Rey movie is becoming. It's just becoming the beginning of a new trilogy. I'm assuming this will be around Rey.
She's back. I think she already confirmed that she's back.
Right, but I think they pitched it as like a standalone movie, like New Jedi Order or whatever it was going to be called. And then I feel like that I would have to double check this, and I'll double check it before I either leave this in or cut it out. But I feel like they announced that was getting pushed back or was not going to make its release date. And then a little bit later, they were like, "Oh, by the way, new trilogy." So I feel like it's getting pushed back because they're just going to broaden the scope of it and make it the first of a new trilogy.
In other news, the new Christopher Nolan film will have Tom Holland, Zendaya, Matt Damon, and I think there was someone else that was also
there was another
there was
person.
a fourth person. But I had a question. Have you guys seen a good Tom Holland film outside of the MCU?
I really enjoyed Onward, the animated movie he did with Chris Pratt. That was good. I enjoyed it.
That was fine.
I would say I enjoyed it. I think I would not argue with that. I would say those exact same things you said, Cole, with a less enthusiastic tone. That's where I'd come down on it.
I'm so interested because I have not seen him make a good, like, wow, that was a really good movie, like outside of the MCU. But I also haven't seen Christopher Nolan like make like a flop or where it's like, whatever, you know, like maybe he has and I just haven't seen it. But I'll be very interested to see how these two kind of mesh because I would not have thought that Tom Holland would be in a Christopher Nolan movie because of that reason. But I was trying. What was the one movie where it was like it was Robert Pattinson going delusions? What was that?
Devil All the Time.
Devil All the Time. That one was fine. That one wasn't bad.
I need to watch that.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That's the first one that came to mind for Tom Holland films. Interstellar is back in theaters. That's not news for franchise movie stuff, but definitely go see that while it's in theaters. Definitely go see that again. Definitely one of the better movies I've seen in IMAX. So highly recommend seeing that while it's coming back for its 10th
Mr.
anniversary.
IMAX. Now you're Mr. IMAX this week, huh? After last week saying how it doesn't matter.
That one was one of the best ones I've seen in IMAX. Other movies, it's kind of hard to tell the reasoning that you want to see it in IMAX, but this one, there was a clear reason. So highly recommend that one. It is getting a prequel. Ice Age 6 is now in production. There's movies coming out the wazoo. What do you not need?
Ice Age 6.
Ice Age.
Dude. Ice Age.
I don't think you're the target audience anyway.
Ice Age failed me after 3. After 3, it was all downhill. I really enjoyed 3.
You didn't buy the dinosaurs, huh?
Dawn of the Dinosaurs, bro. I love me some dinosaurs. And then they did like Continental Drift, where Scrat's the reason for Pangea breaking up. And I think I remember saw
that bit.
That was good. That was good.
Scrat bits always hit.
Is there any other movie series where the best scene is automatically and easily the opening scene of each movie? Each time.
Hey, but that's what you want. You want to start high, you know? Because then how low can you really get?
Okay. I don't know if that makes sense, but we'll go with
I think you can get pretty low. In the fourth one, or in the fifth one, apparently there was a talking llama or something, talking goat, and
I missed that.
That does like
why is that like what you're bringing up as like a bad? That's what makes it bad. All the animals talk in the fucking movie.
But it was doing yoga. It was doing yoga, and it was like from space or something like that. I never even saw the movie, but I saw it in the trailer.
You don't even know. This is just the liberal media coming out of your mouth right now. You don't even know. Anne Hathaway is the other one signed up for the Christopher Nolan movie. Anne Hathaway is the other one signed up. So it's Zendaya, Anne Hathaway, Matt Damon, and Tom Holland for the upcoming Nolan movie.
Corey, you know what we didn't talk about though? The biggest franchise news: Princess Diaries 3 is finally getting made.
You're right. That was an older news. We didn't bring that up last time, but that's a big one.
I saw Corey posted on Twitter, and he goes, "This is my Top Gun Maverick."
This is my Top Gun Maverick.
And here I was thinking Top Gun Maverick was your Top Gun Maverick, but just shows how much you know about your friend.
Yeah. You think you know someone. And then last but not least, Karate Kid Legends is coming out. This is a sequel to the Ralph Macchio Karate Kid movie.
So I've not seen a single Karate Kid movie besides the Jaden Smith one.
You haven't seen the original Karate Kid?
So Mr. Han will be in this new Karate Kid movie, Jackie Chan's character.
Oh, so it's the same timeline,
I guess.
I like that. I like it. I like acknowledging the movies in your franchise.
I'm wondering if you're going to need to watch the show Cobra Kai.
Oh, you definitely will. Ralph Macchio's
lost me.
Dude, it's so good.
That's why I feel like you probably won't need to. It is good, and I think they do a good job of representing the movie and keeping like what they need to alive while also like doing their own thing. I think they have a really good mix of that, and also I really like the actors, and I think the younger actors are going to be they go on to do a lot of stuff. The main girl, she has another show that she's really good in, School Spirits.
Oh yeah,
highly recommend that.
I did really like season 1 of that, and then
is that canceled?
No, season 2's coming out, I think, in a couple of months.
Oh, nice. I like that show.
And then the kid who plays Miguel is Blue Beetle.
That's right. Yeah. See, so I think there are talented actors in it, which is reflected by the work they get afterwards, too. So I wonder if there might be connections, but also you get people like Zach who are like, I'm not watching that show. And so it makes me feel like they probably won't.
I just looked away. Was that Zach or Corey talking?
I know. You know, I'm pretty good at that stuff. So yeah, that's exciting. I don't think we have anything else except Mission Impossible 8.
Trailer dropped today.
The trailer dropped today. You guys saw it. Initial reactions. My first thing I wrote down, I took notes while watching this trailer, and I wrote down fetus trailer. Tom Cruise. That was the first note I wrote down, and I was like, I love that part where he's just in the water in like the fetal position. That was great.
Okay, I was wondering what you meant when you wrote that, but that
I
does
knew
make sense.
Exactly what he meant when he wrote
that. Was the first thing I thought. I was like, Tom Cruise is getting reborn in this one. That's awesome. Even though he's like in the ocean, it's not like a science thing. Yeah. And then when he said, I need you to trust me one last time, I felt like he was talking to us there.
Dude,
and he convinced me.
I'm going to be honest. Every time,
he doesn't have to ask me. He's got my trust until
every
he breaks
time
it.
I saw Luther on screen, I was like, Luther's going to die.
Yeah, but I feel like you could say that for the past like 3 Mission Impossible trailers. So
Luther has never been in danger in a Mission Impossible trailer, and there's a shot where he looks very worse for wear.
He's also pretty old.
I mean, one of them's I don't know. I was gonna say I don't know. Actually, I don't want to get into it because I might be spoiling some stuff for people from the last movie. But
yeah, that is the latest with franchise movies and other stuff. In other news with shows, there's a show update that I wanted to tell you guys about. I know you guys don't watch this show, but Fallout, Macaulay Culkin is going to start or be a new. What was it? He just joins the cast. I don't know if he's going to be a star or just like. I don't know.
I watched the first couple of episodes.
I liked it, so I'm excited for him to go on there. When I saw his face, I was like, "Oh my gosh, he's still married to Brenda Song." Like that's kind of crazy to me. So I'm excited. They have like 2 kids.
Yeah.
2 kids.
Is that right? Is that right?
Is that right? Look that up. So that's all I have for news. Do you guys have any other news before we get into the call sheet?
The Penguin ended last night, and
we can get into that into the in the post credits.
Well, that's well, apparently there are talks of how many scenes he will be in within the next couple of Batman movies, and what his role is going to be within the next Batman movie. But
do you have? Okay, yeah, you just brought up a topic without providing any info.
Yeah, Colin Farrell said he will be in about 5 to 6 scenes. So his role will be about the same size even after this giant show as it was in the first movie.
Here's the thing, though. If we're doing a Penguin show, I don't really want him to be the main focus of a movie.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because like we get all this time, and I think it's well deserved time that he's getting in the show, and I love it all. Like we're doing a great job, but like when we're doing the movie, I feel like there's not necessarily a different tone, but like let's focus on other things. That's kind of what the movies are for. So I don't really want him to have too much of a huge role in the next one, just because the show did really well.
No, that's fair.
Well. That was all the news I have. I don't really have anything else that we could talk about with that. I'm glad we talked about everything, though. That was your pre-production. That's what that segment is now called. I deemed it pre-production.
I gotta find an audio clip for that.
Yeah,
the call
sheets. I'll find something.
Figure it out, Zach. Corey's making executive decisions.
I'll find a little 10-second catchy movie clip.
Hello. You don't know me, but I know you. I want to play a game.
Okay, so I had a game idea for this episode. I wrote it all out, and then I found something on Instagram that came across my feed that made me completely scrap the game. And so I deleted it. I didn't actually delete it. We're just going to do it next episode. But I wanted to do this one. I don't want you guys to look this up. Okay, I have by ranker the top 10 horror movies of 2024. This is voted on by, let me see how many people. 1.3 thousand votes.
17 random strangers in 2017.
17 internet strangers.
17 random internet strangers in 2017. That's what it was.
Was that for what episode was that for? Was that
was
Rise of
Rogue
Skywalker?
That was Rise of Skywalker.
I thought that was Rogue One and
maybe it was Rogue One. It was one of the Star Wars. I remember that. Because we were like, okay, which movies have they seen at this point? Anyway, this is the top 10 horror movies of 2024. Okay, and we're gonna do golf scores. So you guys are gonna go back and forth, and you want the lowest score. So if you get number 1, you get 1 point. You get number 10, you get 10 points. Okay, does that make sense? We're doing the top 10 horror movies of 2024. You guys are gonna go back and forth and guess, and these are all on Ranker. Okay, Ranker. .co. Ranker.co. That's where you can find this list.
Ranker. I don't know.
Do not look it up, Cole. Cole, do not look it up. I see your screen got really light. Do not look it up. Close whatever.
I did.
Let me see your hands. Actually, you're making me nervous. Let me see your hands.
I knew it.
I hated that.
No, I was just going to look up
Johnny Depp. That list of Johnny Depp or the infamous answer of Johnny Depp being born in Kentucky or whatever haunts me. Yeah. There's no fucking way he knew that.
You're just going to look up a list of horror movies in 2024?
No,
yeah, it's kind of
a
cheating.
list of movies in 2024.
Oh, okay. So it's still the same principle. You're still
Hey, how about going to? Never mind. Just let's get it.
Here we go. Okay, so Zach, you won last week, so you can decide either if you go first or go second, and then also go third. So we're gonna do a
we're snaking it. I'll go second and third.
Okay. If you guys miss, you don't lose any points, but we keep going. Okay, so you just get no points. Okay, Cole, you have the first guess.
So I'm gonna go middle of the pack, but I'm gonna go like number 4 as Terrifier 3.
Here's the thing. You do not have to give me what place it is in. You just have to give me the name, and I will tell you if it's in the top 10.
Okay.
I appreciate what you're doing, though. And you know what? Maybe next time we do something like this, I'll give you an extra point if you guess what place it's in.
Okay.
But today we're just doing, you give me the movie. So you were guessing Terrifier 3 as best new horror movies of 2024.
Yeah.
It is not in the top 10 on Ranker.co.
It's tough draw for your first overall pick.
I would have felt safe with that too, Cole, if I'm being honest.
Show me Long Legs.
Long Legs, that is number 8. Zach, so you currently have 8 points. Zach, your next guess.
Show me The First Omen.
The First Omen, that is number 10. So you have 8 and 10. Coming in at 18 points with your first 2 picks.
Show me Max XXX Ein.
Max XXX Ein is not on the list of 2024 new horror movies. Zach or Colt, your next guess. Sorry.
God, I don't know horror movies the way Zach knows them. This is tough. Did Immaculate come out last year or this year?
I did.
I do not have that information in front of me.
Immaculate.
It did come out this year.
You were guessing Immaculate. Immaculate is not in the top 10 on Ranker.co of the best new horror movies of 2024. Zach, it is back to you.
This is hard. Late Night with the Devil, maybe?
Late Night with the Devil is number 1 on Ranker of best new horror movies of 2024.
I'll take the points, but that is a generous ranking for that one.
That is the number 1 overall movie. Zach got that. Zach, your next pick.
Might be voting with my heart here a little bit, but I feel like I can afford to take some swings given how this is shaking out so far. Lisa Frankenstein.
Lisa Frankenstein is not on the top 10 list.
I forgot
of 2024
that America hates
movies.
women.
That's right. Yep.
I forgot.
Cole, back to you.
I am going to go. God, what is the one with Melissa Barrera and the vampire?
That's not a title.
You know what I mean.
Unfortunately.
I do not.
It's a name. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint as your competitor, Cole.
Yeah.
It's a name and it starts with A.
Annabelle. Let's go, Annabelle.
Awful pick. Awful answer. Annabelle's already a trilogy about a doll. So
I don't know.
I will give you another guess for what the name of the movie is.
I don't know. I'm gonna go Your Monster.
Your Monster is not on here. Cole, your next pick.
Zach, just help me out. Come on.
No, I got my next pick ready.
No, the movie I was thinking of.
Second letter is B.
Oh, Abigail.
Abigail is number 3 on this list, Cole.
Yes.
You know what? I just realized something.
Lowest score is gonna
I realized
be
it
great.
too. No, I realized it too, and I was only going to point it out at the end. I was going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
If you miss a point, you get 10. Or if you guess
11.
wrong,
11.
you get 10 points.
Wait, that's bullshit.
Oh, you get 11. So, Cole, I get 11 points for every missed answer. So that's 3 times 11. So you have
That's
33.
33 points plus the 3 I got. Yeah.
And then, Zach, you missed 1 answer, so that's 11 points for you there. I am now caught
More
up.
than 11.
Zach, it is...
Shut up.
Cole got Abigail last. Zach, it is now your guess.
Show me Smile 2.
Show me Smile 2. No, it is not on there. Stupid guess. That's 11 points.
Should have asked when this Ranker article dropped. I would have explained the lack of Terrifier 3 as
October
well.
27th. October 27th.
Let's see.
It's still me. It's still me, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, you get one more guess.
Yeah.
Show me Salem's Lot.
No, I do not want to. No. Show me Oddity.
Oddity, number 4.
That was spooky. That was really spooky.
Oddity?
Yeah, that one got me.
I haven't seen it. Oh. Cole, back to you. We are looking for number 2, number 5, number 6, number 7, and number 9.
So we're just doing this till we get them all? Or...
Well, until you guys
Oh, I got my next pick.
run out of
Go ahead,
guesses.
Cole.
I mean, I'm already out of guesses. Zach could probably get the rest of these.
Cole, I will allow you if you want to look up a list of movies that have come out in 2024.
Okay, I would like that.
There you go.
Okay. Just making sure we're getting the same fair
Cole's
shake
just out
here.
of guesses, and I don't want the game to end yet.
Give me one more guess, and then let
Just
him do that, because
look
I
up-
have my next guess.
List of 2024 movies.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Good.
Give me my next guess. I have a guess before
Cole
he
has
gets to
2
stare at a
guesses
list.
that he has to get through.
So many guesses.
Zach is just like so excited. A Quiet
lose this
Place
game.
Day 1.
A Quiet Place Day 1 is number 9 on here, Cole. Congratulations. You get another guess. Go ahead.
This is tough. Let's go Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus is number 5, Cole. Good job. Good guess. Zach, it is back to you.
Show me The Substance.
The Substance. The Substance is number 2 on this list. Zach, you have one more guess, and we are looking for number 6 and number 7.
Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is not on this list, Zach. That is another 11 points for you.
Tough
You guys
break.
are tied at 3 misses each. Cole, back to you. You get 2 guesses. We're looking for number 6 and number 7.
Ooh, Speak No Evil.
Speak No Evil is Cole's guess, and that is number 6 on this list. Cole, you could end the game right here with number 7. What is your last guess?
Let's go Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
Winnie the Pooh,
Awful
Blood
pick.
and Honey 2 is not on this list. That is another 11 points for you, Cole. Zach, back to you. You have 2 guesses. We have 1 movie left. Number 7. What is it?
It's just I feel like this was really well regarded. It's just a matter of enough people even saw it. I'm gonna go Strange Darling.
Strange Darling is not on this list. That is another 11 points for you. Zach, you get 1 more guess before it's back to Cole.
Is that right? Okay. In a Violent Nature.
In a Violent Nature is Zach's final guess, and it's wrong. It is wrong.
Corey, you're really good at that because I thought he was very right.
Cole, it is back to you. You have 2 guesses. We're looking for number 7 on this list. If you get both of these wrong, Zach will get 1 more guess, and if he doesn't get it, then I will let you know what it is.
Okay. A Different Man?
A Different Man.
Man.
No. A Different Man. Still no.
Oh, Blink Twice?
Blink Twice. No.
Jesus Christ.
It is your turn, Zach. We're still looking for number 7. This is your last guess. If you get this one, then you get the points. If not,
on,
you'll
Zach.
get another miss, and then we will count up the points and see who won.
You got this. I believe in you.
Do I have this? Do I believe in you? Goodness. I don't think they would count this as a horror movie, but I feel like I'm just gonna throw it out there because maybe. I saw the TV Glow.
I saw the TV Glow. No, you did not, because that is not on this list. You did not see the TV Glow. That is another 11 points. You guys are tied at misses, so it comes down to who scored more, or who got the lower score. But here's the thing. Zach got 5. Cole got 4. So what we're going to do to make it even is Zach gets to drop one of his.
He's going to drop 10.
Yeah, since Zach got number 10, he is probably going to opt to drop number 10. Is that right, Zach?
Fucking.
Cole's like, that's crazy. That's so unfair. You only gets to do that because you
with
got more than me.
With
You only
that,
did that because he was better at the purpose of the game. That's not fair.
with that, Zach won with 15 points. Cole has 23. With the number 10, he had 25 points, so Cole would have won if Cole would have gotten number 7. Actually, no, that's not true either.
I would have still had more.
You would have
How
still
many?
had
Give me a hint
Anyway,
on number
Zach.
7. Was it? How many words are in the title?
1. It's one word, starts with a C.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoo. Number 7 was cuckoo. That is correct. That is the top 10. Going through it one more time. Number 1, Late Night with the Devil. Number 2, The Substance. Number 3, Abigail. Number 4, Oddity. Number 5, Alien Romulus. Number 6, Speak No Evil. Number 7, Cuckoo. Number 8, Long Legs. Number 9, Quiet Place, Day 1. And number 10, The First Omen. Zach, you have now won 2 of the 3 Guardians of the Galaxies. You have won the series. Cole, next episode, you're going to avoid the sweep. That's your goal. And Zach, you're going for the sweep. But without further ado, the action.
Even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming. Ah!
Did that surprise you? Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
Anyone have anything they want to bring up first? I will say, because we started last episode talking about the villain, I like the villain more.
Are we doing the summary?
Is that fair? Oh, yes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So, what happens in this movie? In the past, Peter Quill's mom and Kurt Russell fall in love. Back in 2014, the Guardians are doing a job for the Sovereign in exchange for their prisoner, Nebula. After feeling insulted, Rocket steals some of their coveted batteries, leading them to vow vengeance against the Guardians. After a space battle and some bickering, the enemy fleet is destroyed by a spaceman. They crash land on a planet, and the spaceman finds them, revealing not only is he Kurt Russell, but he is also Peter's father, Ego. After some debate, Gamora, Drax, and Peter go with Ego and his associate Mantis to his planet, while Rocket, Groot, and Nebula stay with the ship, all while Fleetwood Mac's The Chain plays. The Sovereign then hire Yondu, who has been kicked out of the Ravagers, to kill the Guardians. Yondu betrays the Sovereign when he confronts Rocket, leading to a mutiny, and Nebula then helps the other crew members betray Yondu. Meanwhile, on Ego's planet, Drax bonds with his helper Mantis. Peter and Gamora confront their feelings for each other, and Ego manipulates Peter. Gamora and Nebula also fight and reconcile. After the mutiny, Yondu and Rocket bond and escape, but not before the betrayer, I'm not saying the name, alerts the Sovereign where they are headed. It is revealed by Ego he needs Peter for his expansion, destroying his rock man when he turns on him. And he is one of many children Yondu was hired to deliver, but didn't after realizing Ego killed these children when they failed him. Third act shenanigans ensue where lessons are learned. Mantis helps the Guardians. Peter has a Scooby-Doo moment. You know, the one from Monsters Unleashed, and Ego is defeated. As the planet implodes, Yondu sacrifices himself to save Peter, and they hold a funeral for Yondu. Nebula goes out to kill Thanos, and the Guardians listen to Cat Stevens. Fun fact, this was actually the first movie I remember watching with Corey. He might have been there when we saw Captain America Civil War, but this is the one I specifically remember watching with him. We sat in the back of his old Mini Coupe and we watched this at the drive-in.
Nope.
Yeah.
I If we want to talk about that story, we could talk about that story. But I remember seeing this at the drive-in as well, and I
also remember the drive-in.
We were not in. I did not drive.
Oh,
I was with someone. You were with Zach. I was with the person that drove me.
Oh,
okay. You don't have to say like. You tell me who you think it is, Cole.
It was Jake. You said,
right?
It was Jake. Yeah. It was Jake Thompson.
It was. Yeah.
You said it like it was like some name we can't talk about. I lived with Jake for 3 years. He was my roommate. We could talk about Jake.
Yeah. It was heated at the time.
Each other.
It was
heated. It wasn't even heated. It was just sad.
Anyway, you were not sitting in the back of my Mini Cooper, but I was there. I remember very well. I don't think I was there with Civil War, so I think this might have been the first one.
I'm cutting all that. That was bad podcasting. That
was fine. But I like the villain better in this one. I think they definitely took a step up here in terms of the villain.
So
absolutely. Do you guys want to talk about Ego first, since we talked about Ronan to start off the last episode. So I feel like we might as well just mirror it and kind of compare and contrast directly, because that's, the best way to do that.
He is so damn charming. He has
pretty good.
All the personality that Ronan lacks. I feel like that's a great mix of good writing and a great actor. Not saying Lee Pace isn't a great actor, but I feel like the writing for the villain just wasn't there. And this one excels because it's kind of a mix of both, if that makes sense.
I will say the fighting style doesn't really do much for me in this one as well for him. Like it's just kind of like a bland, like light show throwing rocks and not really doing anything. And when he's actually there, he's more of like, when you actually see Kurt Russell, it's not really him fighting. It's him like talking to Peter and then like reaching for the heart. And like, he's acting. He's not really like trying to play fight, you know? And so I don't know, like maybe that's just not something they wanted him to do. So that, they didn't really get better in that aspect, but I don't know. It's kind of hard because it feels like I don't want to spoil 3 and I don't want to talk about 3, but like every single time there's a big villain in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, they're always like a god type figure. Like Ronan wanted to be a god. He was trying to become one. This one, Ego is actually a god. And then
Small G's son.
Small G's son. When I'm feeling as humble as Drax, of course. And then in the third one, like he's creating life. So it's like they're all like god-like figures.
He thinks he's God in the third one.
He thinks he's God. And Ronan wants to be God, and then this guy actually is God. So it's I don't know. I definitely think it took a step up with the villain, but I think it was more of like the personality, getting to know them and getting to know like the circumstances around what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah.
I think they did a better job developing the story around him, because with Ronan, it was like, I don't really care at all. But yeah, Zach, did you have anything to say about Ego?
Oh yeah, totally. I think totally agree with both of what you guys have said, and especially Cole was talking about the personality that comes through here. I love that. So, like we talked about in the first one, that Peter Quill, Star-Lord, is a child of the '80s, and he's carried all these pop culture influence and reverence with him into his adult life in space. And so, I think just by virtue of association with the audience, making his new father, or his actual father, who comes in late into his life, Kurt Russell, a movie star, probably most prominent in the '80s, I think is an inspired choice. I automatically just associate with him with John Carpenter movies from the '80s, like The Thing, or Escape from New York, or Big Trouble in Little China. Not my favorite Kurt Russell villain role. That would be Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. He's a little bit more menacing in that. I think when it comes down to the actual threat of the movie, where he's, doing the light show rock thing that Corey was alluding to, it does kind of go into the same comic book finale, and like stuff is just kind of happening.
I always refer to him in comic book movies as a third act brouhaha, like big CGI fight.
You did say that last episode. I can't confirm. I think the way I called it was gobbledygook. I think both would apply here, but I think I'm a little more forgiving. I'm more forgiving of it here because I think the actual action itself still not exciting, but
right. Yeah.
What the action is, the fact that they're fighting, the absurdity of them being within a living planet, That's more interesting than my ship is really big, and once I hit the ground, I'm gonna kill everybody because I'm mad.
And it's
like,
I really think it's cool because I noticed this the first time I watched it. Subsequent rewatches, it's more clear. You can tell that Ego's physical form from fighting Peter is slowly like dying. You see him turn gray, and I think that's such a fun little addition to this. Like, he's not invincible the way Ronan is. Yes, he's a planet, but the way he is fighting, he is very vulnerable.
He is. I think the one, as cool as the planet idea is, and him wanting to expand his, literal influence, like his, I don't know what, his consciousness, his life force, whatever, throughout the galaxy. It's an interesting idea. I will say it is a letdown that it's really just kind of like another just a bland. I mean, what do you even describe that stuff as? It's coming out behind the Dairy Queen. Like, it's just what is that even?
I don't even know.
It's kind of, it seems like they just couldn't think of anything interesting on what expand, like the idea of him wanting to expand himself throughout the galaxy from his like planet core where he originated. That's a cool idea. It's just, I don't think visually they really had much to go with.
Which is so strange because everything else visually, it's like everything I loved in the first one, everything visually was like dialed up to 11. And it was definitely a lot more like, everything that I loved was great about this movie until that like little instance. But he kind of shows you like it's not very in depth. He just wants to expand and make sure everything ends up being, for lack of a better word, him.
Right. No, I get what's happening. It's just
but it's what like basic.
It is, but I think it also, in terms of how fast it goes, and it's just like rolling over people and consuming people on multiple planets. I mean, we see it in Missouri, but like it's on multiple planets, where any planet where he showed up and had sex with an alien, like that's he also planted something there. So I think how quickly it goes and how much damage it causes in the little amounts of time, it does kind of bother me, because it's just, that should be a huge event. Like, whoa, what, like, I mean, these, again, it just goes into what you talk about with all these movies and these comic book movies, is like, it just feels like nothing matters when like something this crazy happens and it will never be addressed again. Like, so like that's, like Eternals has probably the biggest example of that with that finale, without getting into that. But even in non-MCU, because we always point to complain, even though we're talking about MCU, I'm going to try to use a different movie that I like to compare here and complain. One thing I don't like about this movie, or the first Kingsman specifically, like the bad guy's plan is to like cause mass violence everywhere, literally everywhere. And it kind of works off and on during the finale. It clicks on and off multiple times for sustained amounts of time. And it's at the end of the movie, it's like, wow, job well done. We got it. It's like, bro, you shot millions. An entire generation of babies are probably dead because they're the first ones to go when the moms get the violent thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And no one will never talk about it.
Locked the baby in the bathroom.
Yeah, we always cut back to that, and that's good for Eggsy specifically, but it's everyone else is just the worst trauma you could ever imagine. That should change the world forever. But my point is, this movie has another one of those type of threats that I think just, it makes me disengage a little bit. When it could have been like a slow moving, scarier looking visual coming out of the ground, like the Blob from like the 80s movie The Blob, like something similar to that, and that would have been scarier, more interesting, and I would have taken it more seriously with the stakes of the movie, in the sense that like, okay, like that, I don't know, you know what I mean? But it is what it is.
I don't know. I feel like the fast moving, like it moving so fast, you almost can't really focus too much on what it looks like, because you're just like, oh my gosh, it's just demolishing these people. So I feel like that did make it more scary. Like I feel like if it was slow moving, You'd be like, oh my gosh, let's speed it up. Like it would have felt like it was dragging a bit if they would have made it slow moving. Unless
I think
they
as an
done
audience member, I'd be more engaged, though, is what I mean. I should have phrased it like that.
They would have also had to have started that earlier in the movie, especially if it was slow. Or I was going to say at the beginning, but probably not at the beginning. Like maybe as soon as Peter steps on the planet, maybe somehow Ego is like using him as a battery as soon as he steps on the planet. And then it starts slow. That would be more engaging. That would definitely be more engaging. And you could slow it down.
Get this guy in the writer's room. That's a nice little idea. One more thing about Ego. Go ahead if you got something.
Well, I was going to say, I agree that it kind of just, it's this big, massive hurtling thing that's coming towards everyone on all these planets at once. And it's kind of handled almost like nonchalantly, like no one really cares. Like you said, it's not really addressed. It's not addressed later.
Well, afterward. In the moment they care because they're scared for their lives while they're running away.
They care. But. Yes, they care. But it's not like right afterwards, again, they don't really care about it. It's not really addressed. But like, it feels like it's not handled with like care or reverence by the people making the movie as well, because you have this scene earlier with the Ravagers that supported Yondu, and they're being sent out into space, and they spend like a lot of time showing these executions where they're being sent out of space, and you feel for it. You're like, oh my gosh, that guy just got his life just sucked out and he turned to ice, and you just see this trail, and it
really dark
amplifies the situation. Yeah, and it's really good, and I think it's really effective, and it makes you feel like the somberness that Yondu's feeling and like the gravitas of what's going on.
And they're just mocking him as he floats away.
We see their faces like inflate.
Right. And so seeing all that detail is very, like, I really, really liked that. But then you have like just kind of contrasting it with later in the movie when, as you said, you have like this big blob of gook coming out of like all these different planets, and it's just and you just don't really care. And so it's like a ton of people are dying. Like you saw it happen on Nova, and you get like a 1-second clip on Nova about it. Isn't that what it's called?
Nova
Xandar, sorry, not Nova. Nova,
right.
Corps.
Nova
but like, no one cares, and like all those people died, all those buildings were decimated, and it's just like, why aren't we handling all these deaths with the same care? Like, I would have respected the movie a bit more, and it probably would have been better.
It's
you explained what I was trying to say better than I did. Yeah, that is for sure. I think one other thing about Ego is gotta be one of the just craziest unforced errors I've ever seen by a character at a critical moment too. Like, you did not have to tell Peter that you gave his mom. He didn't ask, he did not have to tell Peter that you gave his mom the tumor. Like, you could already just say, I couldn't go back because I was too sad. Like, and that eventually would have been smoothed over and fine. But
then where's the conflict?
Right, exactly. I think that's the that's the challenge of being in that writer's room. You got to figure that out.
Well, there's only one writer, and something tells me Kevin Feige gave him a few guidelines, but other than that, there wasn't a lot of stuff he was like, no, you can't do that.
Well,
I feel like James Gunn has the most influence, and also that is something that informs something we see Peter do later down the line that people complained about all over the internet.
I know what you're alluding to, and I don't think that's bad. I think that it makes sense for Peter to react that way. That's not my problem with it. It's just, why on earth would Ego do that? The way Peter reacts is actually really cool. I actually think it would have been stronger if we don't even add the detail about Ego killing Quill's mom. Like, I don't think we need that. I don't think that actually made me feel too much differently about what was going on. I think the fact that he's already telling Peter to sacrifice his friends makes it, bad enough, and like just forsake his friends. I think Peter only has that reaction once he says the thing about his mom. And it's like, I think it's this Peter's like, Gamora already told him like, oh, like, be careful, like something's weird here. And then he lashes out at her for saying that. I think if it would give your protagonist more of his, it's not like his agency's different. I don't know what the word is, but if it was after he found out that his friends were not a part of Ego's plan, and that Peter would have to leave them behind if he had that same reaction, and then just started shooting, like snapped out of this like, oh, my dad is incredible and he's got this big plan mode that he was in. If he snapped out of it after his dad was like, your friends, you're gonna have to leave their friends behind, or like they're gonna die.
And it ties back to what Gamora says when he's like, I finally have a family. And she goes, I thought you already had.
Right. So I'm saying that would fix the Ego explaining stuff he does not have to explain, that, you know, and that would make, I think, that moment for Peter even stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I agree.
I do also want to say, I mean, if we're just talking about things we didn't like, there's a lot of bits in this movie. This is like really the one thing I didn't like. I didn't like the plan is, it's a super hero movie ending. I don't expect a lot of substance, but the bits, like they were so fresh in the first one. And a lot of this was like characters laughing at their own jokes. And that just wore thin on me so quickly because it's...
Give me an example.
The taser face bit. It's just...
I actually love the taser face bit.
Take a lap.
So wait.
No,
so,
dude,
Cole,
actually, I actually completely... Cole, I hear what you're saying. And Cole is right. There are moments like that. I actually have a complete 180 note from that. And that's why I think this movie's funnier than the first one. Is I think there are so many jokes in this movie where the joke itself is not what happens. It's Drax's reaction to what happened.
Famously
that is
huge
funny.
turds.
Sure, maybe not the line specifically, but him laughing that Rocket's like, oh, it'll be Drax's. And then Drax laughs so hard at that. Like that is, or when Mantis is like, oh, sexual love for her. Like when she reads Peter's emotions, and then it like that in itself is like, oh, okay, haha, that'd be awkward. But it's Drax laughing so hard about it. That's what makes that moment so funny. Or my favorite, like most underrated funny part of the movie to me, and it's all in the
waking up scene. The waking up scene.
I don't even know what you're talking about. So no, not that one. But when Dave Bautista's, they're sitting around a fire. And Dave Bautista's eating his porridge or something, and then Mantis looks at him. She's like, "Can I pet your dog?" And then he like looks over to see that she's talking about, and you can see him trying to hold in his laughter before he even answers. He's like, "Yeah, yes." Like,
see, I thought you were talking. I thought you were going to talk about when she wakes him up in the bed and he...
Well, that part's funny.
He goes...
Yeah. And he starts like, oh,
and she's like, I don't even like what thing you are. And he goes, there's no need to be hurtful.
Yeah. He's like, you are gross. So I actually had a question for you about this one, because Drax's humor in the first one is very, very different than his humor in this one. Like, I think overall, all the other characters stay somewhat consistent with how they connect with the audience. Maybe Gamora becomes a little bit like her hard shell. You kind of start peeling the layers. But Drax is like the biggest difference from the first one. Besides Groot, but it's like kind of a different character. Does it work for you guys though, going from like this very literal humor where it's like my reflexes would catch whatever went over my head or stuff like that, or is like this blue whore or this green whore, she is my friend, like stuff like that. Like, and going from that to being this very like animated literal character, I guess, where he is kind of over the top with a bunch of this stuff. Does this transition work for you? Does it make sense within the character itself? Because people love Drax in this one.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it just because we are introduced to him and he is, for lack of a better word, like very intimidating in that first scene. But within that first scene, we also see the humor. And we kind of get that, which I believe is a sign of like comfortability with all these people he's around. And then he has that really like endearing scene with Mantis where he's like my daughter, she was like you. And Mantis goes, disgusting. And Dave Bautista's line delivery, like, it got me a little choked up where he just goes, innocent.
That scene is one of my favorite scenes in the
so
entire
good.
MCU.
It's so good. And Palm Klatifa, I believe.
Klatifa?
I don't know how to. It's a French last name. Shut up.
I'm gonna clip that off.
But she delivers those lines so well too, because she is inherently also a silly character who has these very sincere moments. And Drax has one at the end where he goes, "You're beautiful too," and he's holding baby Groot, and he then just goes, "On the inside." That's such. Dave Bautista is a comedic assassin. That is the best way.
Really good.
Dude, his line deliveries are epic in this movie.
Epic. Okay. I do. Yeah, but that scene specifically, you're right, Corey. He does become a comedic relief in this. I think he is even funnier in this. But that also just adds weight to that scene where, Mantis it shows the emotion for him, because he's just looking out at those ponds pretty stoically, but you can tell he's being contemplative. But I think that scene is just directed and acted very well, and it's just a great idea of a way to give depth to someone who's kind of become a joke character to that point in the movie. So that's I totally am on board with what you guys were saying there. But I think part of why I also think this movie is funnier is we meet these characters when they are already a team and they're established.
But this is like 4 months in too, so they're still also getting used to each other.
Sure, but so there's friction. But there's friction with any group of people who've known each other and have to hang out with each other every day. So I think it's just like I said earlier with that scene where Drax is like, yeah, pet rocket or whatever. Like that stuff like that comes from I think and this goes for any movie, when characters know each other for a long time, and then the idiosyncrasies is the word I was trying to say, where the idiosyncrasies come out and the ways that they interact with each other, that comfort that they have with each other, that's where that's my favorite type of humor a lot of times. So I think even though there's really big, like, broad humor type of bits in this, that some of them might not work. Like, I think I wrote down the bit with the sovereign, like Elizabeth Debicki, like walking toward Yondu with this grand ceremony and this orchestral music playing, and then it will stop because the rug gets stuck, and then it just starts again once the rug keeps going. It's like that bit that's probably a little too far for me in terms of how goofy the humor can get. But like,
oh my gosh,
not that it really bothers me. I'm just saying, like, in terms of if we're ranking the jokes in this movie from 1 to 10, 1 not working, 10 working, of which there are a lot of 10s, I think that's more like a 3 or a 4, maybe. But again, long story short, meeting these characters when they already know each other and we don't have to waste time getting to, I don't say waste time because it's handled well in the first one, but either way, I have more fun watching this movie because they are already an established group that know each other and we don't have to deal with introductions and all that.
I think that's greatly personified in 2 character dynamics. Peter and Gamora, who you have like this underlying romantic tension where he can he knows it's there and he like wants to explore it. And she has been a warrior soldier all her life. And she feels the same way, but she can't say it. And then it leads to the funny Cheers scene where he like explains this is a show that doesn't exist. And Zoe Saldana, when she delivers that line, it's so funny because she plays it so earnestly where she just goes, I don't know what Cheers is.
It's exactly what I was talking about last episode.
when I saw that scene, I thought of what you said, Zach. I was like,
yeah,
oh,
I was like,
is.
finally someone calls him out for references that he knows, only he knows. So why is he saying them?
And I love how frustrated she is too, where she's like, I do not know what you are talking about. Stop it. Like, just how you talk.
I mean, yeah, she has a very different childhood than him. So it's just like for her to, it's just so funny putting in this, you know, as she talks about, she was just focused on surviving as a child in that, you know, with Thanos and Nebula, and Peter got to hang out with his mom, listen to music, and watch Cheers. So it's funny that she is now being exposed to that through him, and you know, even though that's why it is really satisfying to watch her kind of, like you said, Corey, loosen up on that shell or whatever when she's like dancing to that song with him. That's also one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and I think what he's talking about with the show, like will they won't they thing, actually is part of why they might be my favorite MCU couple, because it is not just like an immediate. I know Pepper and Tony weren't together at the end of the first Iron Man. It was kind of similar, but I enjoy this dynamic more. I think it's more interesting. So I think again it's just handled really well in this movie. The quote unquote unspoken thing. So that's
their relationship is so much more like there's gray areas, there are uncertainties, and like I think that continues throughout, like even the next movie for sure, but like even during the Avengers movies that they're in, and like in the first one as well. Like I think you have these very like more realistic relationship and how people like come together and fall apart. And with like an example with Tony and Pepper, like they weren't together at the end of the first one, but the end of the second one, it was like, okay, now we're together, and like they just never got untogether. And like the only time there was a question about it is when they had like what?
Yeah, they got
untogether in Civil War. It's just off screen.
Because they had like a contract dispute with her, and so they just couldn't get her in the movie, and so they were like, it
makes it a better movie though.
We're having an undisclosed type of conflict right now where it's not certain whether or not like we're not together anymore or we're just like not talking for today. Like it's so unclear. It could be so many different things because they did not know whether or not she was going to come back. And then when she did, they were like, oh, okay, we're just going to ignore that we even said that. It's like, oh, he was upset that whatever that day. Like, but this one, I think this is much more resemblant of a real relationship in the world, and I think that comes across and resonates with audiences.
Well, she takes a while to get to the romantic side that she might be willing or unwilling to have with Peter, and obviously we know where it goes, but the fact it is also very clear that she does definitely care about him early in this movie, like and knows him well with the scene where he's
Zardu Hasselfrau.
Sure, so she brings that up, and she's like, let's go on a walk when she wants to kind of talk through, Ego showing up and saying that he's Quill's dad. Like she wants to talk through that with him. And then she has that line that I absolutely love because it's simultaneously part of that warmness that I'm talking about that she has towards Peter and trying to support him. And also that coldness that she has. And it's when she goes like, and if he turns out to be evil, we'll just kill him. It's like, that is like such a, whoa, like that. I love that line and her delivery there.
Well, there's also
that
like
scene.
There's the unsaid moment where like she like starts like holding his hands, and then they realize that, and like they look at each other, separate, and both kind of walk away and do like the hands on the hips thing, like it was nothing. It's very good, but I also think the relationship between Peter and Rocket is so key.
Yeah,
in
I love
this
that stuff.
movie, because on some level, this is something I love about these characters is they're not all heroic. Peter was raised by like scavenger mercenaries. Gamora was an assassin. Rocket and Groot mercenaries. Drax has all types of emotional trauma, but they're all not like organically heroic. The first time we see them, they are hired to do a job, and this whole problem starts because Rocket, through ego and like just bluster, decides to steal batteries.
I mean, it's so the whole dynamic here, and it's the battery scene. That was another example of a Drax laugh being the punchline with the like Rocket just showing Drax that he stole the batteries. He's like, "You want to buy some batteries?" And then Drax just starts like dying laughing, so. And then of course that pays off with the after he rats him out, and then he goes, "Oh, I mean, I don't know why. What a mystery this is." So like that's also just
dude. They were really easy to steal.
Yeah. What was I talking about? What was the last thing you said, Cole? Before I got distracted by how much
Rocket and Peter's relationship, because it informs Rocket and Yondu's and informs Yondu's character arc, and it's all so well done.
It is. Yeah, that's a good script right there.
Tight script.
It is a good moment. I'm going to try to not keep bringing up specific moments because I feel like that's not a great way to talk about a movie. But that, like, when you're talking about how they are having that friction when he's leaving with Gamora and Drax to go to Ego's planet.
Daddy isn't
and then
as big of a dick as you are.
Or he goes orphan boy. I hope Daddy isn't as big a dick as you are, orphan boy, or whatever. And then it's just like Peter's like, "What is your deal?" Like it's just like, and then the chain starts playing. It was like, "Oh, I do like that moment." It's a good slow-mo walk. You know, we love a good slow-mo walk in these movies.
The chain
I
is
have a question
being
about
broken.
Yondu specifically.
The chain is being broken. That's why it's playing.
We're doing a lot more with Yondu in this, and I think Michael Rooker is really good, and all the stuff with him and Rocket is great. I love that stuff. Do you think we're doing a bit of revisionist history on that first movie with how close Yondu is going to be to kill Quill? And doesn't look like he's about to hesitate. Like he's got the wand in his head, and he only stops once Quill is like, "Oh, I have a plan," and then they talk about it. But it literally looks like he's that close to dying.
So it never felt like there was anything definitive, like, "Oh, he is definitely going to kill him here." Like, yeah, it looked like he was close, but it also felt like with this movie now in the books, looking back on it, it kind of seems like, oh, but he was never actually going to.
So
like, he in the back of his head, he knew that Peter was always meant something to him. But
I definitely
can see how you feel that.
Yeah, same. But there's also there's the idea of like the Pirate's Code. You have to show like you're the big man when you're the captain, and that's what Yondu's doing in that moment. And then we see him when he threatened to kill Peter, and then he opens like the orb, and it's the little like hood ornament, and he has this very warm and genuine smile. And then throughout this movie, like Kraglin calls him on it. He goes, you always protect him. No matter what, you always have. So clearly there was probably a debate after the orb, and this is something we can pick up from off screen. Like he betrayed him. Taserface brings it up. Like Quill betrayed us, and Yondu let him go.
I agree. I think there's enough there that's not set, like off screen, that we can interpret from their actions that it makes sense, the relationship they have. And if you didn't have that scene at the very end of the first Guardians where he opens up the orb and sees it, then I would kind of maybe agree with you a bit more, like, oh, okay, now we're revising this, because there was nothing really besides that scene in the first Guardians that like led you to believe that Yondu liked Quill a little bit more than he let on. But because you had that scene, and then because you had these conversations, I think there was enough there that it's not necessarily revisionist history.
And there's that moment where Kraglin and him basically like agree, like Quill turned out okay because he was with us, you know?
Oh, as they're like flying away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
do like that scene, that father and son thing. The father and son payoff is really good with that song, and him realizing that, you know, Yondu had more of an effect on him growing up than he wanted to give him credit for. And then I think the part that really worked for me after that is when he's listening to father and son, and then Groot comes and sits next to him and asks for a headphone. And then like Peter just sits there with little baby Groot listening to that song. That actually kind of got me a little bit. That was really cute.
One moment I genuinely thought was great was, well, there's two, and me and my sister talked about this. The Mary Poppins y'all scene where like it's like your parent doesn't know who someone is, but they act if like they're like, is he cool? And then they just go, yeah, he is cool. So that's really
is skippity toilet a good thing? Yeah, Grandpa.
No, but the other one is when like he's like, you said you were gonna eat me. I was being funny, not to me. Like it's like those things like your dad says to you that he thinks is like so funny, and you're like, no, Dad, that's not funny. That's like a genuine father-son thing.
I guess so. I think we're meant to assume that Peter actually thought that Yondu was going to eat him, so it's a little bit different. But I see what you're saying. Kind of changing the subject a little bit. What's your favorite song or music moment in this movie? I know we didn't ask that question specifically in the last one, but like I think I made it clear with like "Come and Get Your Love" at the beginning is probably my favorite music moment in that first movie. But like in this one, I also already kind of brought this up, but "Bring It On Home to Me" by Sam Cooke when Gamora and Peter are dancing, I find that scene it's another very cute moment between them, especially since you don't get that much of that, especially with Gamora's personality. So I really enjoy that scene.
Mine is the Lakeshore Drive needle drop as they're like
leaving the Sovereign.
Yeah, and you get the laugh, and it's like Baby Groot looking. He's got like his hands and his legs on the window, and he's like looking, but that's playing in the background. I love that song, and I think the needle drop's great.
I can't remember. I don't know the name of the song, but when Rocket, Groot, and Yondu
come a little bit closer.
Come a little bit. Yeah, that's it. I couldn't think of that. I couldn't place it, but that one is so good. The reason I like that song so much is because of the scene. And I don't think there's many like iconic scenes in the MCU outside of the Avenger movies. Like I think that's where you get the best iconic scenes. But I think the Yondu, Rocket, and Groot walking down that like whatever it is, that little walkway
corridor
with the bodies falling around them, I think that can be considered an iconic scene because it's such a good scene. It's so slow, like, and you get like it's such a good visual. It's hard to explain, but I think that would definitely make one of my lists. I think there's actually maybe even two iconic scenes from this moment that would kind of top the list in a top 10 MCU iconic scenes outside the Avengers. Hit the open, Zach.
Is he gonna tell us? Is he gonna? He's teasing.
The other one I was thinking of was slow-mo Drax jumping in to the monster at the very beginning. I see that scene.
Its hide is too thick from the outside. I must cut it open from the inside.
I see that image a lot. And another reason that I kind of would put it in up on a list is because they also acknowledged it on another show where they built it. And so I think... not like an MCU show. They talked about like a show that I watched outside the MCU. It's like just a regular.
I think,
about it. But I agreed with what they were saying. Do you guys have any scenes in this movie that you would consider iconic, or another MCU scene that you would consider iconic outside of the Avengers movies?
Oh, easy elevator.
Iron Man shooting the tank.
I mean, here's the thing. I think we have to raise. I think the Drax. If we're including the Drax jumping in the mouth, then I think we are kind of making. Because I think a lot of scenes get up to that level. I think the scene of them walking through the Ravager ship probably is definitely one of the biggest MCU scenes outside of Avengers. But I think the first one that came to mind easily outside of Avengers movie was the elevator scene in Captain America: Winter Soldier, for sure.
That's a good one.
That is like, I feel like everyone knows that scene. That's a really good one. Also what were you the god of again in Ragnarok, for sure.
That's a big one too.
That's a big one.
I will say this. I know it's Avengers like 2.5, but the recreating the Civil War comic panel with Cap and Tony, the beam shooting off while Cap holds up the shield in Civil War. That's pretty.
I'll give you that one. I would consider
That's
that
a good
2.5,
one.
but I'll give you that one. That
well, on the topic of broad MCU, how does this Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 compare to other Part 2s and other series? So let's just go one by one and just and you guys give me yes or no on if Guardians 2 is better. All right? So yes, Guardians 2 is better. No, it is not. Yeah. Iron Man 2.
Can you explain the premise one more time?
No, we do not have enough time.
Okay. What was the first one?
Let's Iron Man 2.
Yes, Guardians is better.
Okay. What was the next one? Captain America Winter Soldier.
No.
Thor the Dark World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Avengers Age of Ultron.
Ooh, I'm going to say yes.
I really want to say no, so I'm going to say no. But I believe yes.
Wow. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
No. Nah, yes.
Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Yes, as in it is better than Ant-Man and the Wasp? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Yes. It is.
I think we should have made this a better or worse.
We should have said better or worse. Is Guardians of the Galaxy better or worse? Start over.
No. Okay, so Ant-Man and the Wasp is it better than Ant-Man and the Wasp?
Yes.
Yes.
Better.
Yeah. Is it better than Spider-Man Far From Home?
Yeah.
It should not be a hard one. Oh my God. Bad take alert. Hit the sounder. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah. Easy.
Yes, it is better.
Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Ooh.
Yes.
I'm going to say yeah.
No, it is. It's not. Ooh. It's just not even close. It's close.
Wakanda Forever is a bad movie.
It's just not that great.
Zach hates remembering dead people. He just.
Well, I don't hate that. I just think it. I think you can do that, but this might be controversial. You can do that, but you also have to make a good movie, and I know that's crazy, but that's
no.
Just, I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Hot take.
What? No.
The
any other
Marvels.
notes? Oh, we're still going.
You forgot about the
Yes,
woman
it is
one.
better.
Wow.
It is better.
Okay. See, now, I'm gonna say something. I think, with the exception of Winter Soldier, I think it is better than all the other sequels, Part 2s. So that's Winter Soldier is the one that could rise above. Man, Far From Home is just. I got some beef with Far From Home, that's for sure. But maybe one day.
I like Spider-Man.
But I wouldn't say it's at the best comic book Part 2s because, like outside of the MCU, there's some really good ones. Like X2 and Spider-Man 2 and Dark Knight, Batman Returns. That group, I think, are all better. But okay, let me see. Do we have any other notes?
The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, there is one other. No, not quite. Is Baby Groot? They get a lot of mileage out of Baby Groot in this movie.
Oh yeah,
and I think one of the funniest moments in the entire MCU, just inspired comedy writing, is him Rocket trying to explain the button, the bomb to him, and then repeating it back. I am Groot. Yeah, I am Groot. Yeah. I am Groot. No,
that's the button that'll kill everyone. Try again.
It's the gesturing. It's the gesturing that Baby Groot does. He's articulating it to him. It's very, very funny to me. And that was in the trailer for the movie, and I remember that too. But even watching it again, today, knowing it was coming, and probably for the 10th time I've seen this movie in my life, I was laughing out loud. It is so funny to me. But
I love
the way they all handle Baby Groot in their own ways. The whole characters, I think he's handled really well.
Gamora's incredibly sweet with him.
Get out! You're gonna get hurt, and then he waves. And she's like, "Hi," like it's that is really.
She smiles at him too. I didn't realize that, but she like smiles subtly at him when she says.
There's a
hi.
really good opening with Baby Groot, Mr. Blue Sky. That whole scene just radiates.
Well, did you guys know
to me.
that was actually the scenes where Groot's dancing around? That was James Gunn on like a sound stage, and that's what they modeled the
I don't
dancing
even know how
after.
they could begin to do that stuff with the way they have to create the entire environment and digitally add. It's a lot of planning, and I think some CGI in this movie looks a little but overall I do like the look of this movie. That opening though, I just right away we're fighting. This definitely nails the we're so back right away in the opening scene of that movie. Or the opening present day scene of that movie.
Alert. Let's hit it.
Movie's cooking early is what I'd say there. Is Baby Groot the best version of Groot that we get in any version?
Yes. I am partial to adult Groot, original adult Groot, but it is hard to argue that Baby Groot is definitely the best version of him. And if they could only have Baby Groot from the very beginning, I think that'd probably be a good choice to do. The next version is horrible.
I really like the version in the third movie.
He is hard to look at.
Oh,
in Infinity War?
No. I'm sorry. That's the next version of Groot in the Guardians movies. Sorry.
Oh,
I like him in Infinity War.
Blanking on him in the third one, but
oh, that's
he was
great.
like all beefed up, and
he's a beefcake man.
Oh yeah. That's definitely the worst one.
It looks so bad.
I just think the humor of a character just saying "I am Groot" over and over again is funniest when it's a little squeak voice, little woodman, little twig boy.
Well, I do love the get out of the way, dumber, smaller Groot.
Dumber, smaller Groot.
I am Groot. Whoa! That's a really good. I wish we could have gotten a movie. I wish we could have gotten a movie of that at that point in Groot's life.
You know what I did like? The little post-credit scene of Peter going into Groot's room, and it's clearly like at this point they can all understand him. It's like, I'm not boring, you're boring.
Yeah, I remember that it happened. I just didn't stick around through the credits this time, but I do remember thinking it was funny.
Neither.
There's stuff in the post-credit set. Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to get that Sylvester Stallone Guardians movie.
That's
Add
fine.
it to the list of Marvel post-credit spin-off hints that will never, ever happen. Never, ever be paid off.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's
so
at least
many.
7 at this point. Minimum.
It's getting ridiculous. I have one last thing I would like to say, though.
Yeah.
I'm pushing my button.
Oh.
Play the sounder.
Turn it off. Turn it off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
Whoa.
I'm pushing my button. Here's the reason why. At the end of the first one, I felt there was a natural transition where you're led into a mystery about who Peter Quill is. And in the first movie, you are undoubtedly you have your two main characters being Peter and Gamora, right? You have these other 5 that it's kind of like, okay, are we going to learn more about them? Are we going to figure out who these people are? In the second one, the one we just watched, we learn a lot more about our two main characters, Peter and Gamora. Not as much about Gamora in this one, but you still learn more about her. You have her sister be another main character, and it kind of develops more of their relationship, which fleshes out her character. It is obvious at this point that it feels like at this point to the audience, they are not going to delve too deep into every single character's past and every single character's story like they do with Peter and Gamora. So because of that, I don't really want a third one because I feel like we got enough out of these. And if I'm just taking these, it feels like a third one would have been, in my head, just another Peter and Gamora story. So personally, after watching these two, I'm okay just having them as these two and then having them in Infinity War, having them in Endgame, having them in Thor, Love and Thunder, like these one-off movies. But I do not need another Guardians movie.
Well, I'm just going to say you're wrong and leave it at that.
That's how I felt after I watched it. I felt like the story was complete. I felt like I was done. I felt like I knew these characters. I felt like I could watch them in one-off scenes in these bigger team-up movies, and I didn't need to delve deeper. That's how I felt after this movie.
Dude, after I saw the second one, I was craving more Guardians. Like, that's the great thing about these characters.
It made me want to watch Infinity War. It really did.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I showed restraint, but
Zach, I've been in the car with Zach when we play Rubber Band Man. He loves doing like the
space. We'll talk about how cool that was one day, maybe when we do Avengers. But
onto the awards section.
Apparently they strayed off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
Zach, why don't you go first?
James Gunn.
Whoa.
Didn't you use
James Gunn?
No,
nope.
I used him last time.
Is James Gunn from St. Louis? Is that right?
Yeah, he went to SLU.
Yep. All right, then we'll claim. I'm gonna claim St. Louis James Gunn as my MVP for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. For all the reasons I've been saying before, I like that we have the established dynamic early, and it also gives him the chance. I feel like this is him. He has a tighter lock on what he wants, the tone and the look of these movies to be in this one than he did in the first one. And it just that can just come from more familiarity with the world and the characters after he's done a whole movie with them. And I think he doubled down really well on the family theme with Ego and even Nebula and Gamora. We didn't really talk much about Nebula and Gamora, that B plot. And then how Yondu connects there. It's all very cohesive. It's a good script too that he put together for this one. So, and obviously I think his humor, this might be the most consistent humor out of a James Gunn movie I've seen. So I've seen the 3 Guardians movies and the Suicide Squad. Out of those 4, there might be a James Gunn movie I've seen that I'm forgetting about. I did not see Slither.
You'd love Slither.
I do want to watch Slither.
It's so good.
But yeah, this movie is just bigger, goofier. It has more colorful, silly space stuff that I think gives this movie even more personality than it did in the first one. The first one felt really fresh, and this one might be, maybe it's a little less fresh, but I don't know. I think what it is even sweeter. So James Gunn.
Okay. I will go next. I am going to go Michael Rooker. Out of all the characters, he's funny, but he's also very sincere, and the emotional character turn, it hits very differently. When you know where these characters end up, which I do, and him being the emotional center of this movie was an incredibly inspired choice after where we left him in the first movie. I think him and Chris Pratt, for lack of a better word, they have great chemistry together when they are on screen. They play off each other really well. He plays off a digital character incredibly well. He just kills it in every aspect of this movie. So Michael Rooker is my MVP.
Good pick. I am going to pick Zoe Saldana.
It's a good pick. It's a good.
Not only does she you really feel her relationship with Peter Quill, she is also developing another relationship on screen with her sister and making her sister, who was kind of this like whatever character, she was mad in the first one, into this really complicated, story where you bring this other actor or actress, into the fold and becomes a part of this bigger universe, And I think Zoe Saldana does a great job kind of helping develop that relationship and showing the emotion of that. So Zoe Saldana is my MVP for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. On to the review section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Cole, what do you give this movie out of 5?
You know, you guys, squishing the Walkman was uncalled for, bro. 4.5 out of 5.
Another, I yell at the bartender as Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 ends, insisting he put the second one on with haste. I sit laughing and crying as I take the second installment in, and after it is over, I get up and leave satisfied. 4.2 out of 5.
Great for all the reasons other modern comic book or action movies are bad. I'm a hypocrite, and this movie is really good. 4 out of 5.
I'm a hypocrite.
You are a hypocrite.
I'm really not, though, except right here.
You really are.
Welcome to the post-credit scene.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
I don't know why
That was good. I like that.
You like that? I'm trying new things out. Next, we'll be covering Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We will also be talking about the Christmas special in that one a little bit. And we'll probably reference maybe the Avengers movies, but I don't think we're going to do it.
If you somehow have not seen Infinity War Endgame, it's going to be impossible to talk about the next movie without spoiling some aspects about it for you.
So spoiler alert now. Spoiler
alert for Infinity War and Endgame, and yeah, those two Avengers.
Yeah. Well, we will not be talking about Thor: Love and Thunder, so no need to even worry about that one.
They're in that.
Not referenced, not talked about. No one cares. But we will be talking about. We will be specifically watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and the Christmas special to talk about those two. We won't specifically have anything about the Avengers movies, but they will be referenced. Just to let you know, all 4 of those are on Disney Plus, though. So go watch that. This one's on Disney Plus. So if you didn't watch this one, you want to, go watch it right now. So yeah, that's what we're covering next. I'm not exactly sure when that's coming out. Zach, do we know what's the date on that one? I'm trying to do the math.
That would probably, if we keep to the current schedule, that would come out. I believe the first Tuesday of December. No,
the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday?
No. It would come out December 10th.
December 10th.
Second Tuesday of December.
Right now, you are listening to this on November 26th. We are going to be doing a contest. Not a contest. We're going to be doing a poll because we're going to do a one-off Christmas movie. So go check out Instagram. Go check out TikTok. Go check out Twitter. Go check out whatever it is you see us on. I think we're going to try to put it on Spotify too because I think you could do a poll on Spotify. I'm not sure if you could do it on Apple Music. But we will be doing a contest poll, just whatever the audience wants to cover for a one-off Christmas movie that will come out right before. Oh, it looks like December 24th.
Oh, Die Hard.
So it'll come out on Christmas Eve. So that's exciting. So look out for that. That will probably come out today. November 26th.
Put that one out even sooner because what's the point of a Christmas episode when they are already completely busy with Christmas stuff, and by the time they're free, Christmas is over. So
and it might come out before that, but this one's coming out on the 26th of November. So go back to our Instagram and look for that stuff, and we have all of our links in our bio there. So that's what's coming up next. Cole, you started the episode off with it a little bit. We need to talk about the Penguin just a bit.
Oh my God.
You are the only one that has finished the entirety of the show. I have half the last episode left because I fell asleep in the middle of it.
All of the
Zach
last
is
episode
probably left. 2 episodes behind.
Nope,
maybe
just one asshole. Yeah,
Zach might be a whole season behind.
I don't know if Zach's watched this show. I don't think he has.
We don't even know if Zach's watched the Batman. I mean, who knows
what
Zach has watched.
It is oddly enough, I get the joke, but I don't know if there's any movie out there that is more documented that I have watched it than the Batman with how big of a deal me and my roommates made about it. But
Cole, since you have seen the entirety of the show, give your unspoiling review of the show. Do you recommend it?
I recommend it. I'd recommend it 5 times over. I think it has some of the best writing I've seen in a while for a superhero show. That, knowing that's not a high bar, but I think the writing is phenomenal. I think the performances are on another level. Not just Colin Farrell, but Deirdre O'Connor, who plays his mom, and Kristen Milioti are powerhouses in like every sense of the word. If they are on screen, you are captivated. So get a chance. If you get a chance, take a chance on it. Watch it. It's a great show.
Get a chance, take a
And
chance.
I think Colin Farrell, you know, I love Danny DeVito's portrayal of the character. I think it's iconic. But this is this is what Heath Ledger did to the Joker compared to what Jack Nicholson did to the Joker. That's my opinion.
Oh, I'm trying to figure out that take.
I like it. I like the take. I like the take.
Is
Don't know
he
if I agree with it, but I'm here
is he
for it.
comparing Colin Farrell's performance of the Penguin to Heath Ledger's Joker? Is that the take?
That's what I got.
I'm saying it's on the level of a more nuanced performance that we got from Danny DeVito's when coming from like Jack Nicholson's stuff.
Cole, I don't think you're completely out of line to say we're getting a similar kind of performance from
Zach
from
has
Colin
told
Farrell.
me I'm out of line. I feel so out of line right
Play the sounder. Cole's out of line. Play the sounder. We have one ready.
But
Cole, I like that review. No, I don't think you're out of line.
I think it's great. I think you all should watch it. Zach, if you get the chance, start the series, man. I think you'll really like it.
Zach, I think you'll like it, man. I know you don't
I can't
really
wait
like things
to
that
watch
have-
all these huge crime events that any self-respecting vigilante would at least investigate, let alone
Batman is busy.
Hey,
there is just no way there is anything in Gotham more important going on than what is going on in the Penguin show.
There was a flood.
Dude, he is not out there soaking it up with paper towels. He should be investigating the damn
dude. If
like,
he had
mob
bounty
family.
paper towels, this would all be soaked up in like 10 minutes. So
Sometimes the
clearly he's
police
buying
have
it.
to do their job.
They're
and
not
they
in the
are
damn.
ones who-
They're not a factor either. All these criminals are worried about other criminals, which makes sense. Very rarely are they ever showing any concern for the police department in its entirety, or B, the mentally ill billionaire like vigilante that can come beat them up with impunity at any moment. It's never even mentioned.
No, this will be covered when we cover the Penguin. Okay, separate episode.
It should be mentioned. I agree with you. I don't think he necessarily needs to be in the show, but it should be mentioned.
It give me a fucking line. Give me Gale saying Batman sends his love, but he couldn't make it. He deserves his happy ending. Give me that, that iconic Scream 6 line.
But other things I watched for some reason. While I was watching the Guardians movies, I watched Guardians 1 and then I saw it on my screen and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to watch High School Musical 1. And then I
watched that by yourself?
Yeah.
I saw that on your letterbox and I thought you watched that with one of your nieces. And I was like, oh, look at this. That's fine.
Did you watch that by yourself?
Dude, them songs slap. I don't care what anybody says. I love them songs.
What's your favorite High School Musical song? Go.
Ooh, I'd have to say Bet on It from High School Musical 2 or Scream from
Which
High
one is
School
the one in the
Musical.
cafeteria?
Stick to what you know. Stick to the status quo. That one.
That's the best one.
Yeah, and then I watched the second Guardians, and I'm like, you know what? High School Musical 2. So I
did not.
I did.
You watched High School Musical 2 by yourself as well. What is going on?
We're not covering them.
Do not watch the third one alone. I might have to make a call if you watch the third one alone. I don't want to make the call, but I might have to contact someone.
My favorite song in High School Musical. What's that one that Sharpay and Ryan sing in a really pop way? No, not that one.
To
Before
the Top?
No. Or
Is it
maybe
Bops
it
to the
is.
Top?
No, that's definitely not my favorite. Or maybe it's not both of them, but they sing it in a certain way, and then Troy and Gabriella sing it in the way that the piano girl with the glasses actually wanted it to be, and it's slower.
Oh,
what I've been looking for.
Yes, the slower version, the Troy and Gabriella version of what I've been looking for. That's my favorite High School Musical song.
Well, audience, let us know what your favorite High School Musical song is in the comments, and we'll read it in the next episode. Zach, what have you been watching?
I was just pulling up the diary to see the Letterbox diary. I saw Anora.
How was it?
Wow, where to begin? It is very good. It's a type of movie that left me thinking on it, left me pondering long after the credits were rolling, which is what you want from a movie like that.
I watched Challenger.
Challengers.
Oh, is it Challengers? I'm sorry.
There's more than one Challenger in this film.
Well, I watched Challengers with Zendaya.
Corey, can I ask a question?
Yes, I'm taking questions.
So you played tennis in high school, did you not?
Yes, so I played tennis in high school.
Is this realistic?
And a little bit in college, actually.
Is this realistic? Did you feel seen in this movie? Your personal.
So I watched it with my girlfriend. I watched it with Corey. My girlfriend's name is Corey. My name is Corey.
You got to clarify that sometimes. That is true.
Was your dog there? His name is Corey.
Yeah, my dog was there. His name is Corey. We call him Q. But she was asking me a lot, like, why are they grunting so much? And I was like, you just don't get it. There was a lot of that coming from me. Like, you just don't get it. When I was watching it, the joke that Zach posted, that you posted on your letterbox, like, this is, I want to do this, but with foosball. It just got funnier and funnier as I watched the movie. Like, the joke just kept delivering, But it was something. It was a lot. I will say this. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. Not a huge fan of the ending. But
be careful here. A lot of people here probably haven't seen it, so we can't really.
Well, that's all I was going to say.
I know. Well, I wasn't referring to you.
Oh, you mean our fans? You mean our fans?
The people that
are 1,000 adoring fans. Yeah.
The reason we can keep the lights on. Yeah. But I didn't necessarily like the ending. I'm not going to give anything away with it. I don't know if that's a hot take or not. It's just it wasn't like I hated it. I just didn't like. That's how you're going to end it.
I think the way it just didn't hit for me the way it hit for some other people.
I did like that the last line, Zendaya's last line. I thought that hit, but like the scene around it didn't necessarily. Okay, But yeah, from my experience, there was a lot less sex in this movie than there actually was in High School Tennis. I'm just
How did this compare to the the polyamorous relationships you had during your tennis tenure in high school?
Well, which one?
Did you find this authentic?
No, he's referring to which polyamorous relationship.
Yeah, which polyamorous relationship? I had a different one going.
It's like that implies that there's like two different sets of multiple people that are completely separate.
I had two guys going at once. Anyway, getting on to. Anyway, that's what we watched. That's what we watched this week. We've been watching. Leave us a 5-star review. I don't think we had any between this time or the last episode and this episode, just because we recorded them back to back, kind of. But leave us a 5-star review, and we'll read it on the episode live. We'll also give you a shout out, or a really, really, really funny 1-star. But it has to be really, really funny. Like if it's really,
or tell
really
Corey
funny.
About your polyamorous relationship experience.
Yeah, comment your experience with polyamorous relationships. But from all of us at Get a Load of This Movie, a franchise movie podcast, to you, keep watching movies.
We love movies.